Welcome to the latest edition of Kernels from the Cornfield. No huss, no hulls, no shucks. News with a dash of commentary to spice up your fare for Thursday, January 8th, 2015. Freedom of speech, press attacked. Two values we in the US of A hold dearly, freedom of speech and a free press, came under deadly attack Wednesday, Paris, France. Two of the three suspects are still on the run. The gunmen, brothers known to French police, may be cornered in a forest northeast of Paris. At least one of the brothers may have been trained by Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula in Yemen. If so, this may have been planned in Yemen and not in France. A second act of terror occurred in Paris this morning with the shooting of a policewoman. That gunman is also still at large. As of this time, it is unknown if it is connected to yesterday's attack of Charlie Hebdo. Read my thoughts or view my video on this tragedy. Today, I am Charlie Hebdo. Honda, sin of omission cost. Honda has been fined $70 million for failure to report death and injury complaints. It is the largest civil fine on an automaker in history. Honda failed to report some 1,729 complaints that its vehicles were responsible for deaths and injuries. The company was also cited for not reporting warranty claims. The failure to report stretched over an 11-year period from 2003 to 2014. This in spite of the company learning of its failure in 2011. Then setting on the information for another 3 years. As another CNN reporter would say, bad, Honda, bad. 2016 watch. In a surprise announcement, sure to have an impact on the 2016 election in California, Senator Barbara Boxer, Democrat, announced she would retire and not run again. Boxer, one of the Senate's most liberal members, is serving her 5th term. With Boxer's announcement, the stage is set for what could be a free-for-all. Meanwhile, her colleague, Kentucky Senator Rand Paul, has introduced a bill to the Senate to cut funding to the Palestinian Authority if it continues its pursuit of a seat on the International Criminal Court. The move may shore up the dim support Paul has in the Jewish community. Paul has his eye on the White House in 2016. Election vote promise kept. Many Republican lawmakers ran on a promise last fall to weaken, if not kill, the Dodd-Frank legislation that put a host of new regulations on the banking and financial industry following the housing bubble burst in 2008. A vote on the bill to do that failed to pass Wednesday in the House of Representatives. Supporters of the change came close, but lacked the 6 votes needed to pass. Welcome to the icebox. Most of the nation woke up to mercury readings below freezing this morning. Schools across the heartland shuttered the doors in reaction to the bitter cold, including the Cornfield's own state capital, Indianapolis. Much of the heartland struggled to get up from single digits today. Some areas tried and failed to shake off negative numbers. In the Cornfield, we broke free to a balmy 12 degrees. The cold is expected to linger a few more days before temperatures gradually begin to rise. Bad start? What bad start? Yesterday I noted that the stock market had got off to its worst start since 2008. You can forget all about that now. The Dow closed today over 330 points. Seems investors were giddy about what appears to be a stabilization in the price of oil per barrel. Rally round the flag. Okay, so it's not rallying around any flag, but it is a rally around the world in support of free speech and a free press. Cartoonists are not backing down. If anything, artists are more than ever determined to draw and express their thoughts. It is not just editorial cartoonists, but print, radio, and television journalists who are becoming emboldened to speak and report. There are those exceptions, including CNN, who refuse, however, to show what resulted in the fatal rampage at Charlie Hebdo on Wednesday. There seems to be a divide between old and new journalism. Those more closely tied to internet news are showing the offending cartoons, while most television and print journalistic efforts are refraining. Such a journalistic icon as Carl Bernstein of Watergate fame thinks CNN, the New York Times, and others should show the cartoons, as they are integral to the story. I agree with Carl. A bone for sports fans. Former FBI Director Robert Mueller has completed his investigation into the NFL's handling of the case against Baltimore Ravens running back Ray Rice. Rice was seen in a video which went viral, taking his fist to his now wife in an elevator. Mueller determined that league officials did not see the video, but that the league should have done a better investigation before it acted. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell acted not once but twice after a public outcry when the video hit the internet. 6 recommendations, not released, were outlined by Mueller for the NFL to consider. Free community college? An idea floated a short time ago by President Barack Obama is sure to have Republicans in Congress and conservatives across the country howling foul. The president is set to propose free community college education to those who are willing to work for the degree. The proposed plan is expected to be rolled out by the president while visiting Tennessee Friday. Without providing any details or how the program will be funded, the president said, "Put simply, what I'd like to do is to see the first 2 years community college free for everybody who is willing to work for it." To think he is barred from running for re-election. Don't do it! It's bad enough that for a few years ago, under Governor Mitch Daniels, that Indiana was hit with the national insanity, daylight saving time. Now, an Arizona lawmaker wants the last bastion of sensibility when it comes to the clock to be inflicted with the disease as well. Republican State Representative Phil Levis of Peoria, Arizona, wants to repeal the state's 1967 law, which exempted the state from the national insanity. Levis claims being 3 hours and not 2 hours behind financial and market centers on the East Coast is not good for business. I have only one thing to say. Arizona, don't do it! Well, that's what got my attention for Thursday, January 8th, 2015. Tune in tomorrow for another episode of Kernels from the Cornfield. I'm Mark Ivy. Good evening.